The life cycle of clothes is constantly in motion and suddenly comes to a stop once it hits the disposal stage. A growing trend to reduce waste and extend the life cycle of clothes is upcycling. Upcycling is the conversion of an object that might be seen as waste into something that is new and valuable. Dedicated to giving old clothes a new life is small business owner Mallory Quinsonberry of Mal Thrifts.
I started out doing very basic reworks because I thought that was, that's just what I learned. I learned how to do elastic waistbands and just stuff that I was seeing online. But the past, I would say 3, 4 months, I have been spending at least like several days a week, almost every day. Not, I won't say every day, but most days learning technical sewing. So that kind of changes my process. I used to go thrifting all the time when I first started Mal Thrifts. I was going like 3 times a week. Now I don't even go once a week. I have a pretty big collection of clothes that I already have. I'm very lucky that I live in a bigger space than I used to now, so I have room to put my clothes. Um, and so I try to use what I have. This is such a mess, but I have this big scrap pile. So recently my thing has been like the last collection on my website was using stuff from my scrap pile and just making stuff out of that.
Mallory began posting consistently on TikTok this past August. On the platform, she gives tips and tricks for people learning to sew in her segment of Sewing Tutorials for Beginners. Her consistency on the app has allowed her to gain 25.1 thousand followers.
I think the most important thing is to understand that sustainability is just about making small changes. And because I'm not going to change the world by making upcycled t-shirts, I don't really think that that's how you make big change. My overall thing about doing sustainable fashion is that I think that I'm able to start a bigger conversation or at least help start a bigger conversation.
Let's say someone comes up to you and is like, "Oh, I want to do something like what you're doing." What's the number one recommendation that you would have for them?
Just start. That is the hardest part, is to start, and then if it's something that you really love, you'll keep doing it. And you really have to love it at the core, because if you're doing it to be seen by people, or to, you think that this is a trendy thing or something you think you might like, and I don't want to say it wouldn't work, but just based on my personal experience, you have to want it and you have to put the work in, and also make sure that you remember the reasons for like why you're doing it. I think that even personally, within my first year of having this small business, that was a big lesson I learned, is doing it for the right reasons. And like, for example, let's say people have this one item and like, that you can make the most money making this item, but once you lose your passion for making this item again and again, and like you're in a creative rut, then you shouldn't be doing that anymore. And some people might disagree with that, but I think if you're starting out and you want to do something, it's just understand that not everybody's going to like it either,
Mhm.
but just start. Yeah.
To learn more about Mallory and her journey in upcycling, make sure to check out her accounts linked in the description box below.